So you've already done the first part of 3-2 in class today. So to the bottom of the page, and I want to review this proof here. You might have seen it in class, but I want you to concentrate on it a little bit more carefully right now. You're given that line P is parallel to line Q. That's right here. These two lines in blue are parallel to each other. Okay, and there's rules that come from being parallel that we studied in class. And in this case, you have angles 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to be looking for a special relationship there. Well, look at the second part here. It says that you're supposed to use the linear pair theorem. If I'm looking at this picture, the only linear pair I see is right here, angle 2 and angle 3. So the linear pair theorem says that whenever you have two angles that form a linear pair, they are supplementary. In other words, angle 2 plus angle 3 equals 180. They add up to 180 because they are a linear pair. Okay, keep at it, just one step at a time. The next one says the angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. And you have to look carefully at the picture to see why. Look for the relationship between angle 1 and angle 2, thinking about all the relationships we did at the beginning of the notes. Angle 1 is in the top left corner of this intersection, and so is angle 2. So this angle right here and this angle, those are corresponding angles. They're both in the top left-hand spots. And the rule that we said earlier today is that corresponding angles are congruent whenever the lines are parallel. So angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 because they are corresponding angles by the corresponding angles postulate. Next, we don't know what to put here, but this says the definition of congruent angles. So if I look back here, these are congruent angles. So the definition says that they must be equal. The measure of angle 1 must be equal to the measure of angle 2. And the last step is number 5. First of all, the last step should always be what you're trying to prove. So if I'm trying to prove angle 1 plus angle 3 equals 180, then that's what I'm going to put as my last step. Angle 1 plus angle 3 equals 180. But I still have to put a reason, and don't ever write the word prove here. That's never a reason. What you do need to notice is that from 2 to 5, what changed? Angle 2 turned into angle 1. The 3 stayed the same and the 180 stayed the same. So the angle 2 went away and was replaced by angle 1. How do you do that? How do you take one angle away and replace it with another angle? You do that by substitution. You replace angle 1 and angle 2 because they're equal to each other. They're the same thing. Turn the page and see what some of these problems will need to look like. Okay, in your notes you have a little T-table here that says statements and reasons, and you really need to get used to doing that. First of all, looking at this picture here, what I'm noticing is that I have an angle here and an angle here. Those are same side interior angles. So I think back to my rule that we had earlier today. Same side interior angles are supplementary. Okay, so angle 1 plus 133 degrees, these two angles here are supplementary. They add up to 180. How do I know that? Because of the rule, same side interior angles theorem. Now the next step is really easy. Subtract 133 from both sides, you get 47 degrees. How did you get that? By subtraction. So to go back and always look at the answer, or to answer the question they asked you, angle 1, well, it was just 47. Okay, go down the left-hand side with me. Number 3, we're trying to find angle ABC. So looking at this picture, these two lines are parallel by the markings, but there's no name for the relationship between angle X and angle 83 degrees here. But what I notice is that I could put an angle right here. I could put 83 degrees right there. Can you think of why that's okay? What kind of angles do I have here and here? Those are alternate exterior angles. So I can say, I had to put a little d here just so I could write about it. I didn't feel like there was enough letters on the diagram. So angle CBD is 83 degrees. CBD is 83 degrees. Why was that true? Well, think about what kind of angles they were. These are alternate exterior angles. And the rule is that when lines are parallel, then the alternate exterior angles are always congruent. So it was the alternate exterior angles theorem. Now remember, you're trying to solve for x. So look carefully at what you have right here. Can you see it? Those two angles are right next to each other and they form a straight line. That means that x plus 83 equals 180 degrees. They form a straight line right there, and that comes from the linear pair theorem. Because when two angles form a linear pair side by side, they must be 180. The last thing is to get x by itself, so of course you find or you subtract 83 from both sides and you find that x is 97 by the subtraction property. Okay, so try number 2 and number 4 on your own and then check your answers in a second. Okay. All right, one more to try together. Number 5. Look at the relationship that you have here. This angle and this angle are what kinds of angles? This is in the bottom right, this is in the bottom right. That makes them corresponding angles. So the corresponding angles postulate states that corresponding angles must be congruent. So therefore, x plus 15 has to equal 90 degrees. Corresponding angles are equal. And solving it is simple. You just subtract 15 from both sides, you get 75. And that is true by the subtraction property, subtracting 15 from both sides. Okay, I want you to try number 6. Go ahead and hit pause and just try number 6 on your own. And then come back and see if you got the right answer. Okay, did you get 150 degrees? If so, then you're on the right track. If you have any questions, make sure you write them down or circle this problem and make sure you ask about them tomorrow in class. These last 2 problems I'd like you to try on your own also before you get to class. They're multiple choice, so think about what would be the right answer and we'll discuss it tomorrow. Thanks.